Ladies and gentlemen, let me start with a truth that may surprise you. Strategy alone will never scale your business. You can have the smartest plan, the perfect blueprint, and the most detailed roadmap, but if strategy were enough, every business on paper would already be thriving. The reality is, strategy is just the skeleton. It gives structure, but it doesn't give life. What gives life? What creates momentum? What turns small wins into unstoppable growth is something deeper. It's execution, it's adaptability, it's mindset, it's the ability to lead through uncertainty. And today, I'm here to show you why strategy without the right fuel will always stall, and why the greatest business strategy without execution is just a blueprint that never leaves the paper. And the truth is, many people spend their lives creating strategies, building plans, drawing diagrams, writing out every possible move, but they never see their dreams come to life because they stop at the point of planning. A blueprint looks impressive, it feels organized, it gives a false sense of control, but unless it is translated into daily effort, into decisions, into risks, into action, it remains a lifeless document. Imagine an architect designing the most beautiful building in the world, but never hiring the workers to lay a single brick. The design could win awards on paper, but the world would never see it. That is exactly what happens in business and in life when someone falls in love with the strategy and forgets that execution is the engine that moves it forward. People are not inspired by the idea of a strategy. They are inspired by the results that come when that strategy is carried out with energy, persistence, and discipline. The reason execution matters more than strategy is because execution brings clarity. When you take action, you discover what works and what doesn't. Plans are based on assumptions. They are guesses informed by research and experience, but they are still guesses. When you execute, you turn guesses into evidence, and evidence sharpens the next step. You could sit in a room for months perfecting a strategy, but the moment it meets the world will push back, and only those willing to adapt and move will survive. That is why businesses that scale are not the ones with the prettiest strategies, but the ones that execute relentlessly, who test, who fail, who adjust, and who try again until the results become undeniable. There is also a psychological trap in strategy. People hide behind planning because planning feels safe. Writing a strategy makes you feel like you are working hard, like you are moving closer to your goals, but in reality you are often postponing the uncomfortable truth that at some point you must act. Action carries risk, action carries the possibility of failure, and so many people convince themselves that if they just perfect the strategy one more time, they will eliminate the risk. The irony is that the only way to reduce risk is to face it through execution, because execution teaches you how to handle setbacks, how to improve processes, and how to turn weaknesses into strengths. Strategy without execution is simply procrastination dressed up as productivity. When you look at the great companies that scaled to global influence, what you see is not flawless strategy, but relentless execution. Amazon did not start with a grand strategy to dominate the world. It started with an online bookstore. Through execution, through trying, through testing, through reinvesting, through expanding one product at a time, Amazon grew. Strategy came along the way, but execution made it real. Apple did not become the powerhouse it is because of a strategy written in a room. It became great because of obsessive execution of ideas, constant innovation, and the willingness to turn sketches into prototypes, prototypes into products, and products into experiences that captured the world. Strategy gave direction, but execution created movement. Execution also builds culture. A team that only talks about plans never develops trust, but a team that consistently executes learns to believe in itself. Every action completed is a small promise kept, and promises kept build confidence. When people see results, even small ones, they become more motivated, more willing to push harder, more willing to sacrifice for the bigger vision. Strategy does not build momentum, execution does. Execution creates the proof that what we are doing matters, and that proof fuels the energy to do more. Another powerful truth is that execution reveals leaders. Anyone can write a strategy, but it takes leadership to drive execution. Leaders inspire people to act, to keep going when it gets hard, to stay disciplined when distractions are everywhere. Leaders are not the ones who design the most elegant plan, but the ones who can rally a team to bring that plan to life. In the process of execution, leaders show themselves not by their words, but by their example, by the fact that they are willing to do the hard work alongside others, by the fact that they turn intention into reality. This is why in business and in life, people follow executors, not planners. Execution also teaches resilience. Plans never survive their first collision with reality in the exact way they were imagined. There will be setbacks, failures, delays, and disappointments. It is in those moments that execution separates dreamers from doers. The doers learn, adapt, and keep moving, while the dreamers retreat back to planning mode. Resilience is built not in the comfort of a strategy session, but in the battlefield of execution. Every failed attempt strengthens the ability to recover, to analyze, and to push forward with greater clarity. Over time, resilience becomes the competitive advantage that allows a business to scale, because scaling is not about avoiding problems, but about solving them faster than anyone else. When we think about personal growth, the same truth applies. You can have the perfect fitness strategy, the perfect financial plan, the perfect roadmap to build relationships, but without execution, none of it changes your life. Execution is the bridge between knowing and becoming. It is the act of doing that transforms potential into reality. People are not remembered for the strategies they wrote down, but for the lives they lived, the results they created, the impact they made. The same applies to businesses. Investors, customers, and communities do not care about your strategy documents. They care about the results you deliver. Finally, execution compounds over time. One small action done consistently creates exponential results. The habit of execution builds discipline, and discipline turns into mastery. You may start with clumsy steps, imperfect actions, and messy results, but if you keep executing, each step improves, each process refines, and each outcome multiplies. Strategy may point you toward the mountain, but execution is the act of climbing it, one step at a time, until the summit is reached. This is why execution is not just the partner of strategy, it is the life force that makes strategy matter at all. You said don't just rely on a plan, they rely on people, passion, and persistence to make that plan come alive. Scaling requires mindset, adaptability, and consistent action beyond the plan, because growth is not simply about having a direction. It is about who you become while moving in that direction. Many people believe that once they have a strategy, everything else will fall into place. But the truth is strategy is static while the world is dynamic. Markets shift, technology evolves, competitors innovate, and customer needs change. If all you have is a fixed plan, you will be left behind. What allows a business or an individual to truly scale is the ability to adapt, to think differently, and to act with consistency even when circumstances are uncertain. Mindset is the foundation of scaling. You cannot grow something bigger than the limits of your own thinking. If you believe growth is capped, if you believe opportunities are scarce, if you believe challenges are permanent, then your actions will reflect those beliefs and your business will stay small. A growth mindset opens the door to possibility. It allows you to see problems as puzzles instead of roadblocks, to see setbacks as feedback instead of failure. When leaders cultivate a mindset of abundance, resilience, and creativity, they inspire their teams to believe that scaling is not only possible, but inevitable. This kind of thinking fuels persistence, and persistence fuels results. Without the right mindset, even the best plan collapses, because doubt and fear sabotage execution before it begins. Adaptability is equally essential. No business scales in a straight line. There will be seasons of rapid growth, followed by plateaus, followed by sudden shifts that demand reinvention. Adaptability is the skill of adjusting without losing momentum. It is the ability to recognize when a strategy has reached its limit and the courage to pivot towards something new. Netflix began as a DVD rental service, but adaptability transformed it into a global streaming giant. Instagram started as a check-in app but adapted into a photo-sharing platform that reshaped social media. Adaptability means listening to the market, learning from customers, and having the humility to change direction when the evidence demands it. Without adaptability, businesses become rigid, and rigidity is the fastest path to irrelevance. Consistency is the final piece that makes scaling sustainable. A single burst of effort is not enough to grow something meaningful. Scaling is not about dramatic leaps, but about steady, disciplined action repeated over time. Consistency builds habits, habits create momentum, and momentum compounds into scale. Think of a small company that commits to delivering exceptional customer service every single day. Over time, that consistency builds a reputation, reputation attracts loyalty, and loyalty fuels expansion. Consistency may not feel glamorous, but it is the invisible force behind every overnight success. Without consistency, even the best mindset and the sharpest adaptability will not matter because inconsistency breaks trust, slows progress, and erodes culture. What makes mindset, adaptability, and consistency so powerful together is that they feed one another. A strong mindset makes you adaptable because you see change as opportunity instead of threat. Adaptability reinforces consistency because when you can adjust your methods, you can keep moving forward instead of stalling. Consistency strengthens mindset because small wins collected over time build confidence and prove that progress is real. This cycle creates an unstoppable rhythm of growth where each challenge becomes fuel for greater expansion. Scaling is not just about adding numbers or increasing revenue. It is about building something that lasts, something that can thrive in any season, something that continues to grow even when the leader steps away. That kind of scaling cannot be achieved with strategy alone because strategy is external, while mindset, adaptability, and consistency are internal. They are qualities you carry with you into every decision, every obstacle, every opportunity. A business built only on strategy can collapse when the world changes, but a business built on mindset, adaptability, and consistency becomes anti-fragile. It does not just survive disruption, it grows stronger because of it. At the heart of it, scaling beyond strategy is about transformation. It is about transforming the way you think, the way you respond, and the way you act daily. Strategy may give you a map, but mindset gives you courage to start the journey. Adaptability helps you navigate the detours, and consistency keeps you walking when the road feels endless. Together, they create a force greater than any single plan, a force that not only scales a business, but also scales the leader, the team, and the vision behind it.